What does it mean to be the peacemaker, but to bring peace in the face of conflict? To bring a safe space, a loving attitude, to learn to bless oneself when fear comes up. Ego mind cannot do this, for ego mind is at war with itself. It is divided. Only that which is not divided can bring peace. Only the heart can speak of love when the eyes are frozen in fear. Only the heart can make the safe space for the wounded children in our lives. Only the heart can hear the screams of the ego as a call for love. Find your heart. Find the place of safety in yourself, the place of blessing, the place of acceptance which is deeper than your fear. Find the place in which conflict can float as an overturned boat floats on the surface of the water. Find the deep ocean of compassion within, the buoyant self in which your spirit, in which you split off, your split off persona cohere. Read that again. The buoyant self in which your split off persona cohere. Find the heart and bring the ego mind to it. That is where sword becomes plowshare, where peace is born on earth through your surrender, your compassion. That is the blessing love gives to the soul's impatient wound. The whole elephant. Inside every judgment I make about you is a judgment about myself, and both are equally true or false. As long as I think I have the truth and you don't, I create separation, inequality, and the basis for suffering in my life. The same thing happens if I think you have the truth and I don't. The reality is we both have a piece of the truth and a piece of the illusion. We look at the same elephant, but you see the tail and I see the trunk. When seen separately, tail and trunk seem to have nothing in common. Only when the whole elephant is seen do tail and trunk make sense together. No matter how hard I try, I cannot see the meaning of your piece. Tail does not understand the why or wherefore of trunk. The only way I can come into terms with your experience is to accept it as true in the same way as I accept my experience as true. I must give your perceptions the same credibility I give my own. Until this equality is established between us, the seeds of conflict will remain. I don't have to make you right and myself wrong. I don't have to replace my truth with yours or live my life on your terms. Nor do I have to make you wrong and insist that you live your life on my terms. Such requests come from insecurity and the false belief that in order to love each other we must agree. That is not true. To love you, I must accept you as you are. That is all that is required. But that is a lot. Accepting you as you are is as profound a proposition as accepting myself as I am. It is a formidable task because I have so little experience at it. Letting you have your experience in the beginning, I learned to honor what you think and feel even when I don't like it or agree with it, even when it upsets me. Rather than make you responsible for the pain I feel in relation to you, I learned to look at my own pain. My reaction to your experience, positive or negative, gives me information about myself. My commitment to myself and to you is to work with my own pain, not to make you responsible for it. Only when I can give you back the gift of your own experience, without imposing my own thoughts and feelings on it, do I love you without conditions. By accepting your experience as it is, by not needing to change it, I honor you as a spiritual being. My thoughts and feelings matter in and of themselves, not as a commentary on or indictment of your experience. By communicating how I think or feel without making you responsible for my thoughts and feelings, I am able to have my experience and let you have your experience too. In relationships, as in consciousness, both sides of the coin must be accepted as equal. One cannot move out of conflict with another until the experience of both people has been honored. Read that again. Oh, I've lost my place. In relationships, as in consciousness, both sides of the coin must be accepted as equal. One cannot move out of conflict with another until the experience of both people has been honored. Agreement is never the issue, although it seems to be. The issue is always, can we honor each other's experience? When we feel that the other person accepts us as we are, we have the motivation to accommodate each other. To accommodate is to make room for the other next to us, not to impose or to be imposed upon. Once accommodation happens, the two of us dwell together, man with woman, black with white, rich with poor, Jew with Gentile. To accept our differences is to honor our common humanity, to bless each other at the deepest level of our shared experience. So trunk and tail can argue until they are blue in the face, and neither will win the argument. Both experiences are equally valid. By allowing them, the elephant begins to take shape. By accepting the validity of your experience without trying to change it, without trying to make it look more like mine, the greater meaning of my own experience begins to emerge. When I see you as an equal partner, not as someone who needs to be educated, reformed, or fixed, the significance of our relationship reveals itself. As each part is welcomed, the whole begins to take shape, and the significance of the parts is better understood and appreciated. A world that is looking for agreement will find factionalism and conflict. A world that makes it a safe space for diversity will find the core unity that makes it whole. Opposites can be resisted or embraced. Resisted, they externalize as conflict between self and other. Accepted, they integrate as dynamic agents, creating the alchemical transformation within the self. A few simple truths. Reading a lot of words is exhausting. We do not need a lot of words. The more words we have, the more we argue about what they mean. And the more we argue, the less we understand. There are only two things you or anyone else needs to understand. First, you need to understand that your experience is perfect for you, in spite of what you may think or others may think. There is nothing about you or your experience that needs to be changed or fixed. On the other hand, your experience is your teacher. You are in constant dialogue with it. If you're willing, you can learn a great deal from it. This is true whether or not you like your experience. In fact, most of what you will learn in this lifetime has to do with coming to grips with the aspects of your experience you have trouble accepting. That is where your growth is. The other thing you need to understand is that the experience of other people is perfect the way it is. Like you, they do not need to be reformed, educated, or fixed. They are encountering the lessons they need to grow and become more loving, accepting human beings. If you know these two facts and practice your awareness of them, you will create less suffering in your life. One way to practice your awareness is to stop judging, blaming, or crucifying yourself. If you can't do that, then just be aware of your self-judgments and work on forgiving them, undoing them, recognizing that they do not tell the truth about you. Another way to practice this awareness is to stop judging, I wrote that twice, blaming, crucifying other people. When judgments come up about other people, realize that these judgments say very little about anyone else. They do indicate parts of your own inner mind that are crying out for acceptance and healing. Become aware of the times when you find fault with others and let them off the hook. then you can take the hook out of your own mouth. These are two simple practices. I offer them to you as tools that will transform your life. The words and concepts are simple. The challenge lies in the practice. You can spend your whole life chasing complicated solutions to your problems, but it will be a waste of time. The answers are simple, and they are close at hand. To find them, begin to look inside. Nobody else can make you sad. Your happiness or sadness belongs only to you. Do not look to someone to save you from your sins. It will not happen. All self-professed saviors are wolves in sheep's clothing. Nor blame someone else for your mistakes. Nobody else can be made responsible for what you believe or the choices you make. Keep these simple truths in front of you at all times and act accordingly. The way is straight. It appears to be crooked only when you try to twist it to meet your own misperceived needs. Be clear about these boundaries. All trespass happens because of lack of clarity about what responsibility belongs to you and what responsibility belongs to others. You are responsible for you. Others are responsible for themselves. Do what you can do for yourself. Do not ask someone else to do for you what you can and should do for yourself. Do not give your power away. Do what you can do for others. Give help when it is asked for, and if you give it freely. And if you can, give it freely. But do not take on more than you can do with a willing heart. It is important to help others when you can, but do not do for them what they must learn to do for themselves. If you insist on taking false responsibility for others, you invite their blame when what you do is not to their liking. You were not elected as a savior, so please don't try to be one. Let me give you this hint. All saviors will be crucified. All who are placed on a pedestal will be tarred and feathered and driven through the muck. Please consider this before you climb the podium and tell people you have the answers for them. Everyone who is raised up by men and women will be stoned by them at some other time. That is the nature of projection. It all comes from bad boundaries, from not knowing what your responsibility is and isn't. Nobody but you is responsible for your pleasure or your pain, not your lover, not your enemy. And even you may be not responsible at a conscious level, so do not crucify yourself if you are in pain. Just let the pain be your teacher. The role of others in your life is not to do for you or to tell you what to do, but to support you in discovering the truth about yourself. And that is also your role in their lives. Your role is to be a friend to others and to be open to the friendship they offer you. You do not have to carry them, nor do you have to carry you, nor do they have to carry you. Only children need to be carried, and not for as long as you might think. And even if you can do the task better than your brother can, you must let him do it. Whatever he has chosen belongs to him. Stand back and make room for him. Don't even look over his shoulder. When someone, adult or child, wants to learn from you, be a role model. Demonstrate what needs to be done by doing it. Let them watch you and practice what you do. When they have learned what you can teach them, send them on their way. Do not foster dependency in others. When you have offered help and it has been received, celebrate that moment and set the person free. When the student keeps coming back for more instruction, you know a dependent pattern is there. Do not encourage it, even if it benefits you financially. Believe in others even when they do not believe in themselves. Tell them you know that they can do it and set them free. A good teacher empowers the student. A good therapist helps her client learn the skills she needs to make it on her own. We are here to facilitate the progress of others, not to hold on to them. And we can only teach what we ourselves are willing to learn.